Hello, hello. How are
Hi,
you?
Natasha. We're
It's
good. It's very cold in Chicago. You're lucky to be in Arizona.
I know, I know. So we're live and we're on the One Self podcast. And my podcast is about where wellness and purpose join together, inspiring you to grow intentionally to elevate your life, brand, and business. So I want to know, Brett, about your professional background and what got you into this field of entrepreneurship.
I've kind of had in my work life two different parts of my life. I taught high school social studies for about 18 years. But
Mhm.
in the middle of all that, I was in the software business for about 25 years. Basically, when we were raising our kids so I could make some more money, I
Mhm.
left teaching, went in the software business. And then later on, I got out of it and went back to teaching. I left teaching in 2017 because
Mhm.
we were starting to grow this foundation.
Mhm.
And I decided I really wanted to make it much bigger and make it something that lasted beyond my lifetime. So since 2017, I'm technically retired, although I don't like that word,
Yeah.
and I do this full time. And I put in probably 60 hours a week, and I love it. It's a blessing just to be able to do this. So yeah, but so teaching and software is my background.
Awesome, awesome. So you started the Weiss Scholarship Foundation after a volunteer trip to Dago, Kenya in 2009.
Yep.
So tell me about that experience in 2009 when you went to Kenya.
Yeah.
Time.
Great question. Just so it's Dago, just so you know, and the presentation. Yeah. I went there. I was terrified in going there. I went through a group. There was an organization called Village Volunteers out of Seattle
Mhm.
that kind of coordinated all this for me. But I mean, I really went there on my own. I
Yeah.
was terrified. I'm not an outdoors person. I don't go camping, anything like that.
Mhm.
And here I was. I was going to go live for 3 weeks in a little village where people live in mud huts.
Yes, yeah.
And when I got there, um, what happens is little kids start running up to you, many of whom have never seen a white person. They
Oh,
start yelling Mazungu, Mazungu, which is the Swahili word for white person. And then they yell photo, photo,
no.
because they know that we come there and we have these little things that we can press a button and then they
Correct.
can run up and see themselves because they can't see themselves. And
Mhm.
all the kids are wonderful and it really helps you relax.
Mhm.
And the people are so kind. You visit a mud hut. These people are as poor as can be. I mean, they're the poorest people on earth, but they're always, come on in, have some chai. They have some ugali, which is like a staple that they have. Welcome
Mhm.
to Kenya, it was so nice. And I learned a lot. I used the trip to learn a lot. I visited a number of schools. This is where I learned that in Kenya, very few children go to high school. Most
Mhm.
don't graduate primary school. Many never go to school at all. And
Mhm.
I learned what a big problem it was. And so I left there wanting to help. It really led to, I met a young man named Victor who became the first student that we sponsored to go to high school. And today he has a degree in finance from Machakos University. And then we just started to grow from there. But I fell in love with Kenya. And matter of fact, by the time I landed at O'Hare Airport in Chicago, it was like, I got to go back. Like,
Yes.
it kind of pulls you in because they're so nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I guess that leads into my next question is what was the moment or experience during that trip that transformed your perspective and how you led this new foundation?
It's great because there's so many moments. Like every when you go, it's like you left our planet and went to a different planet.
Yeah.
Everything is different. I thought I was well prepared to go there. I'm fairly intelligent. I have a good education, read a
Yes.
lot of books, all that kind of stuff. I have to tell you, nothing prepares you for the extreme poverty that they live in.
Mhm.
So, the first couple of days are overwhelming. It really is overwhelming. But probably the single moment, um, the kids are taught, they are told, don't go up to visitors and ask for money,
Mhm.
because they don't want visitors like us, getting bothered by that. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden I was walking along. I felt a little tug on my sleeve from behind me. I looked back and it was Victor, who I didn't know at the time. And he basically said to me, I really want to get an education. My mother is sick. My mother and father are sick. And what I learned is when they say sick, that means they have AIDS,
Oh no.
which is widespread there. I mean, and can you help me? So that conversation ended up becoming he became the first student that we helped. So that was a really key moment.
Mhm.
And he became the first one, and now it's 350 scholarships that we've given.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And I love that you give back even here in America too. I mean, being a Rotarian uh,
Yes.
is a big it's service above yourself. And
Yep.
I'm a Rotarian as well. I've
Yes.
been for about 8 years now, 8.5 years now.
It's about the
And
same for me. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
No,
been,
and I'm on the International Service Committee. So
oh,
through
that's great.
that, I'm involved in projects, in Haiti, in
Mhm.
Honduras, in Nigeria, in India, and yeah, Rotary people are the best. And I speak to, so, a lot of how I raise money
Mhm.
is I've done probably almost 300 speaking engagements the last 300 years.
Great.
Not 300. I'm not that old. About
Wow.
the last 8 years, 9 years, I've talked to about 250 Rotary clubs
That's
all around the country. Actually, most live, some on Zoom.
Have you
Yep.
gone to an international convention yet for
I
Rotary?
went to Calgary this summer. I
Did you?
had never gone to one.
Yes.
It was amazing. It blew me away. I had a booth in the House of Friendship
Oh,
because
no.
for
Yeah,
free you can get a booth,
yes,
and I
yes.
mean I Rotarians from all over the world. Matter of fact, as a result of being there, we
Mhm.
have a special Rotary partnership. We added 3 more clubs to that Rotary partnership
Oh,
just based on Rotarians I met in Calgary. Yeah, yeah,
oh, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I know they're
yeah.
next in Taiwan this summer.
I
So
know. I don't know. That's kind of far. We'll have to see. But it was great. Have you been to one?
not yet. I've gone to
Yeah.
the big convention that they have here in Arizona, and I've been
Yeah.
to the Texas one. So like
Okay.
that, yeah, the ones here. But
Yeah.
definitely something on my list to do. Especially when I go back home to India, I want to be able to visit a club and
Okay.
see
Yeah.
what I can do there as well for our community.
Well,
And
but yeah,
it's been
the
great.
people in my club, they kid me that I should write because I've been to over 250 Rotary clubs. They kid me I should write a book about visiting Rotary clubs because there are
Good.
similarities. Obviously, the 4-way test is done at every club, but
Yes.
every club is unique. Every club has its own unique things in the way they do it, and it's kind of fun to see the differences between
Yes.
clubs.
And you learn so much from being a
Yeah.
part of this club. I mean, I think I grew as a leader by joining something like this. And we do it as a family. My mom and my dad, my husband, we all are involved and we enjoy doing
Good.
it as a family. And
Yeah.
we encourage families to, bring people not only to your club, but also like to the events where you see how much the impact
Yeah.
affects our community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because more than just the dances and the golf tournaments, it's
Oh,
also
sure. Yeah. Yeah,
to the
it's one thing because I speak to lots of other groups too, and the thing about there's always questions that people have for me.
mm,
Rotarians ask the best questions because so many Rotarians have been to third world countries. They've been involved. They really get what we're talking about. If I'm speaking to a group of people who've never been to a third world country, they're very nice and so on, but it's really hard for them to relate. But when
exactly.
you're talking to people who've been there and done it, the
Mhm.
questions they ask are amazing.
Exactly. So, my next question about your company is the foundation focuses on more than just paying fees. You engage deeply with students, teachers, and families. So, why is the personal, hands on approach so important to the foundation's mission?
Yeah, thank you. And this gets to really kind of the heart of why we do what we do and how we do it.
Mhm.
I learned, there's so many things I learned early on. Although to be frank, I'm still learning things every day.
Okay.
But the kids we're working with, very few of them have both parents. Many don't have either parent, and they live with a grandma, an auntie, a neighbor, or something like that. And it's primarily because of age. Age is widespread there.
Mhm.
And the adults in their life not only cannot financially pay for an education, they have had little to no education themselves. So they're
Correct.
not really equipped to help these students. These kids are very much on their own. And
Mhm.
even at the schools, even at the best of high schools, there's no concept of like a guidance counselor or a social worker. Kids are very much on their own. So I realized we needed to start hiring people
Mhm.
to support them. So we have
Correct.
8 staff people. They're what we call mentor coordinators. They're all teachers,
Mhm.
and they are totally engaged in these kids' lives. They
Mhm.
visit them every term at their school. We have kids at boarding schools all over Kenya. They meet with the principal, the deputy principal, the teachers. We
Mhm.
meet with whoever the adults are in their life, and it may be grandma, maybe an auntie, whoever it is. We
Yes.
called it holistic business model. We want to meet with all of the adults in a child's life to
Makes sense.
make sure we're doing everything we can to help them be successful.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a whole spectrum. It's a whole the
yeah,
wellness of the child, the education that they get. They also need to be supported by
yeah,
some member of the family or a friend or some support system because it's really hard to do it alone,
yeah,
especially when you've been displaced. I can only imagine how tough that must be for
yeah.
those children.
And our staff is we are blessed. They are fantastic people. They are passionate about helping these kids, and they perform, they do things. I go like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that. I'll just get a quick side story. I'll give you a real short version of it. 3 years ago, we had a young lady, brilliant young lady, ready to start high school. We found out she was pregnant. It was the first time we had to deal with that. I think she
Mhm.
was about 2 months pregnant.
Mhm.
And in Kenya, if a girl's pregnant, you cannot go to school. You are not allowed to go to school.
Mhm.
And so, for the most part, if a girl gets pregnant in Kenya, education's over. There's no more education. So, Sammy is our mentor coordinator who works with her
Mhm.
for the first 2 terms. Well, it was Marion, her mom, and then baby on the way. So the
Mhm.
first 2 terms, Sammy would bring her work from the school, every week back and forth, bring work, bring back the completed work, that kind of stuff, to
Mhm.
try to keep her up as best as possible on the work. In
Yes.
term 2, she had the baby.
Mhm.
And then the mom, who was really cooperative, she lived about a 3-hour car drive from where the school was at. And
Mhm.
that's like a billion miles to them.
Yeah.
Sammy actually found a mud hut for them to move to that was right by the school. So
Oh,
they moved there. In term 3 of that first year, she returned to school.
wow. Mhm.
And it's pretty cool because there's there's big gates around the school. So
Yes.
she can be in school, but whenever she wants, she can go outside the gates, visit her mom, visit the baby, and then go back in. Her first term, grading is much more difficult in Kenya. As a teacher, I would tell you, we give away A's and B's pretty much for free here. She had a B. She had a B plus average in her first semester back, which tells you how smart she is, and she is doing very well. She's well on her way to eventually going to university. But
That's
that's the kind of things our staff do
key.
all the time.
And education is really key to your success. There's never a wrong time to start, and it's never too late to finish either.
Yep.
So I'm glad that your team has developed the need to give back and the care that they give to each person individually to ensure that they are successful. So I love that about what you're
Thank
doing.
you. Yep.
Yes, yes, you're welcome. So, what are the biggest barriers to education that you've witnessed in in Kenya, and how does your model aim to address them?
So the biggest barrier is money.
Mhm.
Um, High school, well, the government will tell you primary school is free. They have what primary, what they call junior secondary. The government will say it's free. It's not free. There's still all kinds of costs. It's
Mhm.
one of the reasons a lot of kids drop out of primary school because they can't pay the fees. We
Yes.
come in at high school. The government doesn't pay any of the cost of high school at all.
Mhm.
So the communities we work in, these parents can't even afford to buy food or clothes. There's
Yeah,
no way they could pay school fees.
of course.
So
Yeah.
you know, money is the biggest obstacle. We pay the money, and when I say we pay the money,
Mhm.
we do much more than just pay the school fees. We
Yes.
buy toothpaste, soap, toilet paper. Our kids literally have no money.
Mhm.
So we literally buy everything for them. So the money is the biggest thing to overcome. And I guess I would say a second thing, there's a lot of prejudice against girls going to school, even from mothers. In the beginning, we have a rule that we always divide our money 50-50 between girls and boys.
Mhm.
Part of the reason that's important is we pick kids for high school based on an exam they take. The
Mhm.
girls traditionally score a lot lower, not
Mhm.
because they're not as smart, but for reasons beyond their control. They've missed a lot of school. But we always divide the money 50-50. In the early years, a lot of parents got mad at us.
Mhm.
Why do you send girls to high school? Girls don't need to go. We don't get many complaints anymore. And I'm hoping the reason why is they have seen us send a number of girls to high school. We have
Mhm.
girls who've gone on to vocational school and university. We have girls who've graduated vocational school and university.
Yes,
They like to call me a crazy Mzungu. Mzungu, once again, is a white person.
yes,
I
yes,
think they maybe have realized I'm not so crazy, that maybe sending girls to high school is a good idea. I hope they realize that now.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, my next question is: community seems to be central to everything that you do. What does that connection that you're making now with these individuals mean to you?
Um, it's everything. It's when I go there, I've been there 9 times, and the best part of it is spending time in each community,
Mhm.
and visiting the kids at their schools and meeting their parents. And they're all so appreciative and they're kind and they always want to offer you some chai and so on there. So it's all about community. But also, I would say part of the reason our model says the community is important to us because we have a partner in every one of the 5 communities.
Mhm.
These are local people there. They have local staff there because
Mhm.
there's no way we can know all of the communities where we work in.
Of course.
We learn this through our partners, and
Mhm.
our partners are they're the ones who help us pick the students in each community. They know the students, they know the families. We can't know all that.
Correct.
So we don't go into communities and just say, well, here's what we're going to do for you.
Mhm.
We have a partner we work with, and they're the ones who make the key decisions.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, can you share a student's story that particularly moved you or embodies the impact of your foundation's work?
Oh wow! Well, there's about 350 of them. So what story? Well, I told Marion's story right now. Um,
Because I'm sure they're all impactful,
so
especially.
so what here?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we have 2 students we brought to the United States for university. These are students who went. There's different levels of schools in Kenya. The top is called national schools. These were incredibly bright kids, did very well. And one's a senior here at Elmhurst University. One's a freshman here. But the
Correct.
senior at Elmhurst University, she's been here. Well, she's a senior now, so this is her 4th year.
Mhm.
She is brilliant and works so hard. We are so proud of her.
Mhm.
Everybody she meets, and I take her to a lot of places, is
Mhm.
really inspired by her. I
Of
mean, this
course.
girl grew up in a mud hut with barely any food, barely any clothes. And here she is getting ready to graduate in biology and go into the medical field. And so she's just a fantastic story. Another one I'll say, and there's a young man named Nelson Mandela, pretty cool name for a kid in Africa, right?
Yes.
Nelson was not a great high school student, not a great high school student at all. He was more interested in playing football than he was in studying. But he studied enough and he graduated, not with the greatest degree,
Mhm.
not with the greatest marks. So he did not qualify for university. And when
Mhm.
they don't qualify for university, we help them pick a vocation. And it's
Okay.
very challenging because if you grow up without electricity, you don't know what an electrician is.
Mhm.
You don't know what a plumber is. We
Yes.
helped him get into a 2-year plumbing program.
That's
He graduated. He passed the government exam. He's a
that is.
licensed plumber in Kenya right now. And if you're a licensed plumber in Kenya,
Mhm.
you're going to make a very, very good living. So
Okay.
obviously there's a million stories. There's a couple of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So, beyond tuition, uniforms, and supplies, how do mentorship and emotional support play into a student's success, and how do you cultivate that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that question. So our staff is really trained on. We talk a lot about the emotional needs of students to make
Mhm.
sure when we visit them, we tap in.
Mhm.
We really want to be aware of any problems, challenges in their life.
Mhm.
We want to be very aware, try to be very aware of, any school in the world, whether it's Kenya, the United States, whatever. There could be bad things that go on. We all know that, and
Of
we
course.
really tap into that. We have private conversations. How are you doing? Things like that.
Mhm.
Most of these kids, especially their first year, they've gone away. It's the
Mhm.
first time they've ever been away from their home, their family, and their village, and
Mhm.
they're far away. It's very difficult for them. So
It is.
we really try to be careful in how we nurture them. So the emotional part of it is really, really important. It's not,
Absolutely.
we have found a number of kids sometimes when kids aren't doing well, it's because we're not addressing the emotional needs. And when
Mhm.
we address the emotional needs, boy, it's funny what happens. All of a sudden, they start doing a lot better.
Of
So
course.
yeah, yeah. Emotional is so it isn't just about money. It isn't
Mhm.
just about buying things. That's important, but
Yes.
yeah, emotionally, especially on girls, it is a very tough world for girls. Christine, our student at Elmhurst, who is really really bright,
Mhm.
she has trouble making friends with people her own age. The
Mhm.
reason is all the bullying she had to deal with growing up.
Mhm.
She told me once that when you're always the smartest kid in class, you get bullied a lot. And when you're a girl and the smartest kid in class, you really get bullied a lot. So
Oh
she's
yeah.
been bullied a lot of her whole life. And it's even though she's here, it's still a very tough issue. She has trouble trusting people her own age because of all the bullying.
I can imagine. That's tough. That is tough.
Yep.
I have a few more questions before I'm
Sure.
done. Over the past decade, how has the Weiss Scholarship Foundation evolved, and what are your goals for scaling the model in Kenya or beyond?
Yeah, so good. So yeah, so in the beginning, we were just in one village, the village of Dago. And one of the things people told me, especially because a lot of my time is fundraising,
Yes.
and as we were asking people who could give more money,
Mhm.
a lot of them said, "You have to prove you can do this in more than one community. Can
Yeah.
you scale your holistic business model?"
Mhm.
And so when we added a second one, then we had the third one. We're up to 5 communities that we're in now. So we have proven that we can scale our model. We can add the staff that we need. We can scale it, and we know the only limitation we have is money. Right? The more donations we get, the more we can scale. The more communities that we can go into. The ultimate goal is I want to make sure this lasts beyond my lifetime. Someday I'm not going to be here. I have grandkids. I'm hoping I can watch them all grow up, but someday I won't be here.
Mhm.
And the two things that we've done, one of our 8 staff people, Christina Doyle, we promoted her a couple of years ago to what we call Kenya Country Coordinator.
Mhm.
Most of the operations now she does, the things that I used to do.
Mhm.
And then we have started an endowment. And eventually we want to have enough money in the endowment that we can hire somebody to do my job simply based on the interest that we're making in the endowment. So we can have a whole separate fund just for the person to do my job, and then a separate fund just for the scholarships. And we're getting closer to being there. We're getting closer to where this whole thing can operate without me having to be involved.
Hello.
There you are. Hello.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm hearing you twice.
Okay, sorry.
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah, I got disconnected. This is live. I got disconnected because my computer decided it
Okay.
wanted to sleep. So I don't know how far we got, but
Okay.
are you still talking during this time?
For a while I was, and then I didn't want to just keep going on. So I did talk. Yeah, I saw you. I was still talking when you were moving.
Yes.
And then you got to where I saw like a coffee pot, that kind of thing. I
Yes.
talked for a little while after that. And then I kind of stopped from there. So I don't know how much you did not get.
Okay. Yes. So
When
sorry.
when you got disconnected, does that mean StreamYard stopped?
No, it was still going. It was still going.
Okay, well then you got everything.
Yeah, it was still going, but I don't know if you want to just continue off of this same stream, or do you still have time for some more questions?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, whatever you need to do, go ahead. I told you, I'm not. It's Friday. I'm not going outside. So yeah,
Yes.
whatever you want to do, go ahead.
Okay. So now for the next part, what message or feeling do you hope people walk away with after reading your work or attending your events?
About 80% of the children in Africa get little to no education. About 50% of the children in the world get little to no education. It's a massive problem. Not only has it not gotten any better over the years, it's actually getting worse, especially in Africa. What we talk about, we want to create a world where every child gets a great education. And, and people say to me, that's crazy, and my response is, especially the older I've gotten in life, the more I realize if you're going to set a goal, you might as well set a big goal.
Yes.
Right? Life's too short. Why set little goals? Our goal is create a world where every child gets a great education. And we believe what we're doing and the model that we built can do that. And we do it. It doesn't cost that much money to do it. So, I mean, we truly believe we can do this. One of the things I talk a lot about is, why do we have a world where so many kids don't get a great education? It's not because of a lack of money. There's plenty of money in the world. In Rotary, we talk a lot about this. There's plenty of money in the world. That's not the problem. The problem is the lack of will to solve the problem. And we think we built the model that can solve it. I've actually helped a couple other people in some other third world countries kind of start a similar model because they would call me and ask for help. So we can create a world where every child gets a great education, and imagine what a great world that would be.
Absolutely, 100%. Yep. So you partner with local Kenyan educators and organizations like Rotary Club. How do these partnerships enhance the foundation's work and ensure cultural relevance?
Yeah. So, oh wow. Okay, I love the cultural relevance thing you put on the end there. So first is obviously the money. They all pay part of the money because the more money they pay, then the more kids we can help, right? They also provide, our kids, we provide a lot of support for them, but these children, they can never get enough support. The challenges they face every day are overwhelming. Most people in our world couldn't even imagine the challenges they face, especially the girls. So they help us, their staff. We have several people in every one of these communities who volunteer their time. Some of them are Rotarians, and they come with us on the visits. They know the families. They really, they help out a whole lot. So that, and then I got to get back to the cultural relevance thing. I love that you put that at the end of the question. It's really important. I've never wanted to be, let me back up on that a little bit. In Africa, I've heard lots of stories from people who say that people will come, generally white people will come, and they're going to tell them what they're going to do for them. And the Kenyans' response usually to me is, they never ask me what we want. They just tell me what they're going to do, and they don't listen to us at all. This all really started my first trip there when I asked a mother once, what do you really need? She said, we need our kids to get an education. That's kind of really how it started. So we do a lot of listening to them. There are many disagreements I've had with my staff over the years on kind of how we should do this or how we should do that. Every time except one, which I'll mention in a second here, at the end of our conversation, I say, this is your country, it's your culture, it's your history. You know it. I don't know it. We're going to do it your way. The only thing I never compromised on is the 50-50 rule. I used to
Mhm.
get a lot of people telling me, well, don't even send girls. You shouldn't even send girls. That's the one thing I put my foot down. But other than that, their history, their culture is much more important than me as a white guy in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. As someone who transitioned from teaching to running a nonprofit, what leadership lessons have you learned that you think are universal?
Um, wow. Hire great people, train them well, and pay them very well. Uh, that's really because like the staff is really the key to what we do. They're the secret sauce. So
Mhm,
it's really about hiring great people, respecting them, getting them very involved. We have a staff meeting every other Sunday on Zoom,
mhm,
um, and empowering them. They are very much, they don't sit back and wait for me to tell them what to do. They
mhm,
just go do things, and they just amaze me with the things that they do. So it really starts with hiring the staff and keeping them happy, paying them well. To be frank, sometimes some people who run other nonprofits in Kenya find out what we pay our people, and they'll
mhm.
call me and they're mad at me because we pay our people so much. They say, "You're making me look bad. Why do you pay your people so much?" And I'll say to them, "You run your nonprofit, I'll run my nonprofit. Don't,
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you what to do. Don't tell me what to do." So
But
I
if
guess
you
it really starts. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. If go ahead, finish.
No, I just, it starts. It's all about the people in any business, right? It's about the people. It isn't
Yeah.
really about me. It's the people. Matter of fact, when I was there in June, we had an event where the first time ever we got everybody involved in our organization to a one party that we had at a place right near Lake Victoria. We had never had everybody together in one place. On Zoom we had, but not in person. And it
Yeah.
was so cool to have everybody together. Matter of fact, our newest staff member is a young man named Joel.
Mhm,
He was sitting next to me, and everybody kind of wanted to talk a little bit at the beginning of the gathering. And
mhm.
he looked at me and he said to me, "I love my job. I love what I do here. It's the best thing that's ever happened in my life."
That's
I
awesome.
was in tears. That's how important this was to him. So yeah, it's your people. You have to have great people, pay them well, keep them happy, empower them. Don't
Empower.
don't bark orders to them. Don't tell them how they have to do things. They'll,
Mhm.
you give them some general directions, and they'll do great from there.
Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. How you treat people, it says a lot about you as well. So if they feel empowered and educated enough to make decisions and take life to the next level, you've done your job, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of our Ernest is one of our people, and Albert, he's actually the first person we ever hired. And
Mhm.
when we talk, he loves to call me boss man. Now, in our culture, that's not necessarily something I'd want somebody to say.
Yeah,
That in our history in the United States, there's a lot of bad stuff that goes with that terminology, but
yeah,
he means it as a real sign of respect.
yep.
He doesn't mean anything bad by it. So he calls me boss man. So, okay.
Nice, nice. So, what is a common misconception donors have about supporting international education, nonprofits, and how do you address that?
Wow. It was, a lot of people feel that most of the money is wasted, and
Mhm,
we work very hard to be very transparent. We go overboard on being transparent with our donors, with
mhm,
pictures and videos and letters and all all kinds of things that we do, so to make sure that they understand that we are very efficient, and we are very careful with how we spend every dollar, every Kenyan shilling, and so on.
mhm,
um I think there's people who, well, okay, so a big challenge is I'll run into a lot of people who will say, I think what you're doing is great. I love what you're doing, but I want to help kids here in the United States.
mhm,
And I think they think that I'm going to be mad at them. And I
mhm.
go, I'm not mad at you. Help a child somewhere. We,
Yes.
you know, I taught economics for many years. 20% of the children in this country are growing up poor. They're going hungry. That's a
Mhm.
crime. In the wealthiest country in the world, we have that. So there's
It
plenty of children here who need help.
is.
And so I always just say, help a child somewhere in Chicago, in Arizona, in Kenya. Just help, because there's so many who need our help. Help a child.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. So, looking ahead, what's your long-term vision for Weiss Foundation and for the global movement towards educational equity?
Well, the equity part, our 50-50 role is very much about that, to making sure girls get an opportunity. The matter of fact, while in a perfect world, we would want all these children to have a great opportunity. The reality in the third world country, it's much more important to educate girls, because
Yes.
the girls tend to give back through their families.
Mm-hmm.
Girls become mothers who make education important. They make healthcare important. The men usually aren't so good at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the equity part we have there, we want to keep growing throughout Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have a list of people who want to partner with us. Getting partners is not a problem. We have to get enough money so that we can grow to have more partners, because we
Absolutely.
have to put in money too.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we want to keep spreading throughout Kenya. And we also have plans. We would like to take this model and go to Tanzania and go to Uganda and go to Rwanda. There are
Awesome.
other places where we would like to go to do this.
I love it.
So, there's plenty of work that needs to be done. There's no, I remember I taught economics. I like to say, well, this is not a good thing to say, but unfortunately, there's pretty much an unlimited supply of very poor children in the world.
I know.
That's the reality.
Yeah. That definitely is. So my last question is more positive. What inspires you daily?
It's all pretty positive. It's the kids that we help. Every day I'm having, I get a lot of message. Once they get out of high school, they have become aware of technology and Facebook and email, things like that. So I communicate with a lot of them. Their stories inspire me. I mean, we're taking kids. Okay, so Victor, the first one who, these kids grow up thinking they're never going to go to high school. Because why would they go to high school? They don't know anybody who goes to high school. How are they ever going to go?
Yes.
And then, Victor has a bachelor's degree in finance. Nicholas has a bachelor's degree in geospatial engineering. He builds GPS systems. He never thought he was going to go to high school. And now he's building GPS systems. So it's the stories from the kids. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
And then when you see them take their life to a new course, it gives you so much joy. I feel like I can't even imagine how you feel when you see that change and the shift in person. It must be such a beautiful thing.
It is. And they're such good people. People, a lot of times people will say to me, well, you must be able to teach them a lot when you go to a third world country.
Yeah.
I respond with, they teach me a lot more than I could ever teach them. They have a kindness and respect and a work ethic that we've kind of lost in our country here. Christine, our senior at Elmhurst, she had been here for a few months. And one day she said to me, it shocked her that there were students on campus who don't take their education seriously. And I said, welcome to America. That's the sad part. Because for these kids, education is life and death. That's how serious it is to them. So, the kids are amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So everyone who's watching live, follow Brett Weiss at Weiss Scholarship Foundation. You can also visit his website for more information. Find him on LinkedIn as well. And I want to leave you guys with a quote today that I came up with. When purpose leads, impact follows. So follow your purpose, follow your passion. It can lead you to wonderful places. And to see the replay, go to oneself at oneselfconsulting.com. You'll see the replay on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So thank you so much, Brett, for being on. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the best for your company moving forward.
Thank you, Natasha. I really appreciate your time and having me on your show here.
Always, and you're welcome back anytime. Have a good